competitive draft. All right. What do we have here? So, the ones that stick out to me are Electrify and Graveyard Marshal, and pretty much nothing else. This is a fairly unexciting pack, as packs go. This is kind of expensive ramp that gives you a little bit of healing and a little bit of mana fixing. It's good for that kind of thing, but I don't think we want to start our deck by mana fixing. Graveyard Marshal is a 3/2 for 2 black, pretty decent card. Although you don't tend to actually want to swing with him very much, and 2 black's kind of an annoying mana cost to pay, but who is basically looking for a long game where you can dump mana to create 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. That's good, kinda. I mean, it's certainly efficient, but 2/2 zombie tokens don't go very far in this format. They don't do a lot. The Sky Marcher is decent as a 2/2 flyer, and Electrify is decent but not good as a 4-drop instant removal. Instant being nice, of course, but 4 damage for 4 mana is not particularly good ratio, and a lot of the threats you care about have more than 4 health. So, yeah. Not super excited about any of these picks. The Enigma Drake is worth mentioning too, very strong in certain deck types. The Bookcase is whatever. I've not been able to make this card work for me. I find it fairly weak. Presumably target creature can't be blocked this turn is decent, but the cost of doing that is you remove your blocker and pay 3 mana. Yeah. Pretty rough first pack. Hey, we played a very good aggro deck yesterday. Karma. We just played a red-white aggro deck that went pretty damn well. I mean, they're all speculative picks, right? Graveyard Marshal is, I mean, black is the best removal color, black and white probably, with black, I think, beating out anything else. Green's been my favorite color to play. It's changed, I think. White might be the strongest color. The Drake is really speculative but could be fun. I think I'm tempted to grab the Electrify. I don't really want to commit to a Bloodletter. I think the creature's decent but not good. I think this creature is solid, but I don't think wins games in this archetype very much, or in this this meta very much, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Could pick the mana fixing. Could pick the Drake. I don't think it's strong enough to invest 2 colors in. Or could pick the Electrify and maybe hope we get the Drake wheel. The Drake's not going to wheel. Electrify is the only decent piece of removal. And it's only mediocre. Let's grab Electrify. I don't love it, but that's kind of where I came down. It's powerful cards here. Switcheroo, Declare Dominance, both really solid, very strong cards. Divination, decent. Second Electrify, decent. Rogue's Gloves I haven't used, but on small evasive creatures, this could be good. Get some card advantage. I think card advantage is disgusting. I just think this is slow for no damage. So I think the strongest power card here is either Declare Dominance or Switcheroo. I think the removal and color is something too. Is it true that if you force a single card early on the AI? I don't know. And no one actually knows that, because all of what people are doing is reporting patterns, and the patterns could be not actual patterns. They could just be random things from too small of a sample size. I don't know, say Laguna. I've heard that, but I don't know if that's true. The Electrify is certainly a safe pick. Declare Dominance is a more interesting pick to me. I do like green. I haven't had any success with green-red as a color combination in this format. My green-red decks tend to run into either a piece of removal or a couple blockers. You can't do shit. I think Switcher is on early pick. I think it never gets back to you if it's not picked early. Yeah, 2 Electrify as a start isn't terrible either. I have seen the announcement for the new Battle Brothers DLC. This is a bit of a struggle. I wish we'd had a little bit more clear of a pick. I'm gonna grab the Electrify, but I'm like 60-40 or maybe 55-45. Declare dominance there. Let's grab the Electrify. Huh. All right, there's no red cards in here. There's a pretty solid green creature on Colossal Dreadmaw. There's a very solid blue-green flyer over there. That's pretty unlikely around that. And then there's 5 artifacts. 5 artifacts is kind of amusing. I like Gargoyle Sentinel, although I've never played him in a draft. Every time I see him, I'm like, I like this card. I should draft him, and I never do. Card that's most interesting to me here is actually the Dreadmaw. I wouldn't mind playing red-green. We have a little bit of removal already in the red. Might be nice to try to grab some big green creatures and try to build a deck for that. The strongest individual card here is the Sky Patrol, I think. The safest picks, I think, are the artifacts. I don't know what this deck looks like with 2 Electrifies. It could be anything. It could be aggro. It could be control-ish. It could be slow. It could be fast. So it's really difficult to decide which of these artifacts is more relevant. I like Fountain of Renewal, but Fountain of Renewal doesn't seem to have a lot of synergy for me with red. It has a lot of synergy with a lot of other ones, like blue decks trying to race in the air, white decks or black decks trying to run healing effects. I really like that card, but I'm not super excited about it. Sentinel, I don't want a 3/3 defender this early when I have no guarantee that I'll be able to generate the mana. Although 3 for a 3/3 that sometimes flies is pretty nice. We could go blue-green splash red for removal. It's really greedy. I think I'm taking the Dreadmaw and seeing about what comes up. We're immediately quasi-rewarded for that pick. The green-red, pretty solid green-red card here. Both a ramp card and a 2/2 body and a late game. Probably grabbing the Draconic Disciple. Haven't played this card yet. Passed it a number of times. So we're going to grab that. The other options are the Rejuvenator or the Giant Spider, both of them which are pretty good. And the Motivator is even playable. Let's grab the Disciple. Okay, if we're playing red-green, which it seems like we probably are, the ones that stick out are Sure Strike, Druid of Horns, Center Courser. I don't really love Druid of Horns. I'm not big on investing in enchantments on my creatures. I'll grab the Courser as a very solid 3 for 3/3. Sentinel, Havoc Devils, Blanchwood Armor. None of these is exciting. The Devils are certainly a good creature at 4/3 for 4. I don't love the double red mana cost. I don't think Sentinels are particularly playable without investing in auras. So I'll grab the Havoc Devils and be okay with that. Talons of Wildwood. I would like to actually play one of these in this deck at some point, probably. The Pyromancer or the Hellion. None of these are exciting to me. Maybe the Hellion could be something. We'll grab the Hellion and see. Maybe that would be like a Thud or a Colossal Majesty that we can do something with there. I don't want any of these cards. They're all fairly bad and not in my color, so I'll grab the Foul Orchard in case we end up with the Black Splash. Ogre versus Thornhide Wolves versus Highland Game. I think I value a 4/5 more than I value a 3 for 4/2. Have a couple 3-drops already. Let's grab the first Thornhide Wolves. Don't value the Highland Game pretty much at all. Our first Titanic Growth isn't even bad. Same could be said of the Motivator, but let's grab the Titanic Growth first. I'll take a first Talons of Wildwood over an Act of Treason. Take the Motivator. Take a Lava Axe, although I expect not to play it. We'll see how aggressive our deck ends up. Ghost Form. Wall of Vines is actually a halfway reasonable sideboard card. Okay. This pack. So our deck right now is green-red, with green-red doing creatures at bigger sizes than other colors at value, but no flyers. The card that fits with that is either Rabid Bite or Gaspark Twins. I like the twins. Every time the twins comes out, everyone gets a little bit more excited. But I think it's probably got to be Rabid Bite over the big dude. So I think just removal is going to be premium, especially cheap removal like this card. So I'm going to grab the Rabid Bite. That Scepter, I just don't think this can see play. I think it's too slow. I do like this combat trick, but I think we're going to run with Rabid Bite here. Giant Spider versus Sky Scanner. A lot of blue-white in this pack. A lot of really solid blue-white. Not a lot of red-green. The rare's missing. I'm probably grabbing Giant Spider over Sky Scanner. I love Sky Scanner, but I don't think it has much place in this deck right now. I'm not expecting artifact synergies. Yeah, Explosive Apparatus is an option, but I think the Spider's fine. Second Dreadmaw, Woodland Stream, Strangling Spores as a black splash potentially. I think the second Dreadmaw is quite good here. We'll grab that and be pretty happy with it. Declare Dominance versus Rabid Bite. Super hard. I have no death touch creatures here. I think I will take the second Rabid Bite over the first Declare Dominance. This card is really good with Death Touch and for clearing boards that are stalled or getting that final damage in. But I think the Rabid Bite as just directed removal is better. Ogre, Instigator, Gutter Snipe, Root Snare. None of these are good for us. I'll take the Ogre. Root Snare helps us race, but I'm still hoping for a Colossal Majesty with this deck, and the Ogre might trigger that. Let's grab him. Highland Lake for some blue mana. Highland Gain for some delicious venison. Might be an elk, not a deer. And a Fire Elemental or Tormenting Voice. I really don't want any of these. Could be 2-drop. I'm not very excited about a 2/1 2-drop. Not terribly excited about a 5/4 for 5. I'm not terribly excited about a dual land for color I'm probably not splashing. Yep, 2/1s are very bad in this format. Maybe it's the Tormenting Voice. Let's draw that. Let's see about it for card selection. Take a Plummet. I'll probably even main deck it. I think it's better than the Minotaur here. Take a second Plummet. That one's probably going sideboard. Sure Strike versus Game. We're starting to run a fair number of spells. I think this is probably the 2/1. I don't know that I'm going to see it get play. Can run an Explosive Apparatus here over the Smelt. Not in our colors at all. Grab the Wall of Vines. Second Highland Game. First Root Snare. Fire Elemental comes around. And an Island. Let's hope this last pack is more exciting, and we're pretty rewarded with one of my favorite green creatures, the Palaka Worm. Let's get him into that deck immediately. Isn't the Highland Game a moose? I don't know, man. I don't know what that exactly is supposed to be. Another pretty good option here, the Vigilant Bailiff, also very strong. Thanks, the Witness. Deck size is getting a little heavy. I'm grabbing the Bailiff. No red cards, or rather one red and one green card here. Doesn't leave me particularly excited. Don't really want an active treason. I'll grab the Sky Scanner. I don't know if it's going to see play in this deck or not. Bogart Groot as a 2 or a 3 drop for us rather, or a 2 drop over there. The Lightning Mirror is decent. I think we could use another 3, and that's a pretty valuable 3. One of my favorite 3s, in fact. I'll grab the Brute over the Lightning Mare. I don't want these cards. I think the Red Mare's crap. I think it's decent. Second Explosive Apparatus, second Talons of Wildwood. It's unlikely either see any play. I suppose second Explosive Apparatus is a decent sideboard card for lots of annoying 2-drop or 2 toughness creatures. Can grab that. And just armed. Wow, very late Druid of the Cowl. Fits this deck extremely well. Quite happy with that. We'll grab him. He's also a 2-drop that I'm missing, so we'll grab that. Looks like the bots are respecting our picks. I wouldn't mind a Marauder's Axe, but the Rejuvenator seems strong. Helps us ramp up a little bit. Second Motivator versus Highland Game. This could be a Motivator deck. I think it's better than the third Highland Game. So I'll grab the Motivator. Don't know if it will see play yet. 4-2 for 3 versus 4-5 for 5. We've got some big dudes. And if we're going to do like aggro tempo with some Motivators, perhaps the Ogre is actually better than the Thornhide Wolves. It's a lot cheaper. We'll grab him. So I'm a little disappointed we haven't seen any Oracles. Haven't seen any Colossal Majesties. It's a bit of a bummer. I'll grab second Root Snare, although I don't see playing it. Grab third Wall of Vines, although I'm definitely not doing that. Take Meandering River. No, I'll take Smelt just in case for sideboard. I'll take Smelt again. And we are finished with this deck. And kind of not that impressed. I have no... That's not true. I have the Palaka Worm as the bomb of this deck. And the Bailiff. The Bailiff is amazing, and I love the artwork on that Bailiff. He's such a happy-looking dog. You can just imagine him bounding around, crushing things with his tail whipping back and forth, knocking shit off tables, knocking entire planeswalkers over cliffs and shit like that. He looks happy. So we got that going for it. Let's take a look at the deck layout. What are we at card-wise? 47. These are definitely in. Those are in. Lava Axe is probably not in right now. This is our answers to flying is a Giant Spider, a Plummet. I guess we have 2 Plummets, 2 Electrifies. I think these 4s are fine. I like the Sky Scanner for draw, but I'm not sure it fits the deck very well. It's a slow 3, and we kind of want aggressive 3s. I think the Highland Game has no place here. Tormenting Voice is a maybe. I think Explosive Apparatus is fairly slow here. I don't want 3 Motivators, but maybe 2. I don't mind 1 Talons of Wildwood here. We actually have a lot of creatures that would benefit from Trample. We have a fair number of Tramplers too, but maybe, maybe not. It's a little bit of card value. 17 creatures right now. We need 2 more cards out. Double Motivator might be pushing it. The guy we played against yesterday who had 4 was fucking insane. 4 is not what we want to see. Little bacon strips. The Rejuvenator. The Ogres. Rejuvenator is ramp. Ogres are that. We have no 2-drop, so we don't have a 2 into a 3 as a aggressive play in this deck. So the Motivators get a little bit more value for me, so we can pick our tempo back up on our 3-drops. So we go 1 to 3 as opposed to 2 to 3. We prefer not to cut one. That looks like a Tormenting Voice to me. One more cut. It's probably the Talons or the Plummet. Talons has limited use in this deck. I forgot this color combination is called Gruul. Giant Spider has low. Yeah, but Giant Spider stops like fucking little 1/2 flyers pinging away at me. Do I run 18 lands in this deck? No, I've got a Rejuvenator, a Disciple, and a Druid of the Cowl. No sap, no green, Green Seeker. So, and no draw cards. Leaves me a bit worried. Have a lot of tramplers. I don't really like the ogre cuts. I feel like I want big creatures on 3. I mean, the 4/2 is certainly a shitty body, but 4/2 for 3 is all right. Could just go 41 and say I laugh at your arguments for doing anything else. I don't want this many forests. I think 8, 9, 8 is fine. I do want forest first, but I want red pretty early too. I may actually want 9, 8 the other way. Just to be able to play Havoc Devils and Motivators. I think we're going to leave this as is. So, what are we calling this? We've got the Worm in here. We've got the Bailiff in here. This is Gruul, right? This is what you call this? I think this will be more Gruul for Doggo. You think more Gruul for Doggo? He looks like a Doggo. So the ones that are potentially sketchy are double motivator. Potentially sketchy the Plummet, potentially sketchy the Spider. Spider is slow. Doesn't really fit this curve. We have a Plummet, but he's our only blocking option. You think I'll be sad not to have 2/1 2-drops? I don't think that. I think this is a very, very, very low value card. What happens when you start with 41 cards? You will immediately become afflicted with some sort of disease, which will be unrecoverable until you spend a night in the Abbey. Other than that, we should be okay. Can I get away with this? Get away with not playing the Spider? I don't really like the body. And we do have a Plummet, 2 Rabid Bites, and 2 Electrifies. Holy shit, chat. You want to second guess much more? Let's talk it out. Ready? We have barely any 3-drops, I just had someone tell me. I've got 6 3-drops. 2 1-drops and a 2-drop. We have some stuff early. We're fine. You guys think Highland Games are valuable enough? What would you cut? All right, chat. Let's start here. What would you cut for the Highland Games? What do you think in this deck? This deck with has no draw, has very few cards for 2-for-1 except for big creatures. What are you cutting for Highland Games, which are a shitty 2-1 creature that gets traded with literally any creature they put on the board, literally any creature they put on the board, or stalled to death with anything. So I mean, I'm very curious. Like, you guys are second guessing pretty hard on this about the low drops. But what do you think this creature does for us? like, give me a break. I'm considering cutting the spider, honestly. I think the spider is going to go. And we'll see how I feel about that. We can sub it in for flyers. This gives us 40. Let's go from there and get going.